Smiles. We are live on YouTube.
All right.
With Mr. George Mullins.
George Mullins.
How you doing, George?
George, how you doing, buddy?
You in there?
Can you hear us?
Yes, you break up sometime.
That's all right. If you don't hear anything we say, we can repeat it.
Yeah, no worries at all. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are honored to have one of my favorite veterans. He's always putting a smile on your face, Mr. George Mullins from the 101st Airborne. How you doing today, George?
Good.
Good. Good. Are
Thank you.
in there right now with this whole quarantine?
Are you okay with quarantine?
Oh, yes. That didn't bother me much. I mean, mentally. No. I was already timbered in stuff like this.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Are you
Yeah.
Very much different.
Are you staying safe right now and wearing a mask and not going outside? I know we sent you a nice little gift bag of masks. Are you wearing those masks?
I didn't follow him.
Are you being safe? Are you wearing a mask? Are you
Oh, yeah. I decided not wear it today because you wasn't wearing yours.
Well,
Yeah, before we started, he was joking. He's like, if anyone gets on here not wearing a mask, I'm not going to talk to him.
Yes, but I don't take this virus as a joke.
Yeah,
We
for
can
sure.
joke about it, but I don't take it that way. It is
Yeah, for
very
sure.
serious.
For
Yeah,
sure.
this is very, very serious. And, we're all doing our part, staying at home, because we want to make sure that we protect our older generation for sure. You guys, and we're doing it for you guys. We're staying home. I haven't really left the house in 2 months. I mean, we go to the grocery store and come right back.
I thought we were too tough for it.
You guys made it through quite a bit for sure. And I know you guys can beat this too, but, let's just be safe, right? Let's just get through this together. And I think,
I'll agree with you.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it's nothing to mess with.
Yeah, no, it's a
For
serious
sure.
deal. And, we'll just keep pushing forward and making sure that we're safe and make sure that you're safe as well, because, we need you and we want you to continue to tell your stories and get out there with that George Mullins laugh and smile.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got to get you back out in front of the people. Get you out there.
Hey, George, I have someone right now who wants to say hello. I think you might know her. She is the master of the air fryer.
Oh, there's that beauty.
Oh, sorry. How
She
are you?
keeps disappearing and reappearing.
Yeah, come closer.
Oh, sorry. Hi, George.
Howdy.
Hi.
Hi, pen pal.
That's right. We're pen pals and Instapot pals.
What's she
Oh,
say?
you guys doing Instant Pot recipes together?
Instapot.
Instant pot pals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you share recipes with her, yeah.
Oh, yes. Hey, did you try the deviled egg one?
No, that's coming up though. I love deviled
Oh,
eggs.
very good.
Swapping
Piece of
swapping
cake.
deviled egg
Uh,
recipes on YouTube. All right.
Yeah, I got to tell you guys, George Mullins is the master of the Instapot, and he's been sending Catherine recipes. And I got to tell you, I mean, she's been cooking up and baking up a storm the last couple of months, and it's been wonderful. I think I'm enjoying this actually. I really like this a lot because there's always food on the table.
Nice. All right. So thanks everybody for joining in. We got a bunch of people waiting to join our conversation here. Mike, you want to say anything to George?
George, I just want to say I miss you. We had some great time together on program in Normandy and Holland and in San Diego, and very much looking forward to getting the whole gang back together for our next program. So we'll I just want to say I miss you, and we're looking forward to getting back together.
I am too.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed being with you. And I wish we'd have taped your story that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Well,
know, George, Mr. Malone's on the front line right now. So he's one of our first responders, and he's out there, you know, helping, you know, keep the community safe. And, you know, without guys like Mr. Malone and all the other first responders, man, I don't know where we'd be today. So we're ever so grateful for what they do for us.
Absolutely.
Well, thank
He's
you,
in
Donnie.
Jersey.
It's
He's
our
in the thick
pleasure
of
to
it.
be out there. We do what we got to do to get through all these situations. So just staying healthy and doing what we can to keep our community safe.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we'll all be getting together here pretty soon with our virtual walk on June 6th to recognize what happened on that fateful day and to remember the fallen for sure. So we're going to be doing something where we can all come together. You know, we're going to do a virtual walk, you know, to commemorate the 76th anniversary of the attack on D-Day. So it's going to be great.
Yep.
We're going to have a link here and also on our website. We're going to be going live today. And it's a great way for the community to come together, to remember, and to, you know, take some time.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, let's start bringing people in. Malone, good to see you, bud.
All right, guys, great seeing you. George, I'm going to watch
Yes.
on the YouTube, and
Thank
I'll talk to
you.
you soon. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
All
That's-
right.
Hey, Mike.
All right, so George, we're going to start bringing people in who are going to ask you questions and get to know you and just have fun with it. So right now, let's bring in Paolo.
I'm cutting
That's
out.
how you say his name. Did I say your name right? Paolo?
Paolo, like Paolo Nutini.
Paolo.
Hey, Paolo, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
I'm not understanding for some reason.
We can hear you.
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear
Hello?
I don't know if George
Hello,
can hear you
guys.
because George has to make sure his hearing aid is turned up. So sometimes he may
Yes.
ask the question twice, but it's all good. And we'll get through it for sure.
Paolo, where are you
Yeah.
from and how old are you?
I'm from Brazil.
I
Brazil.
think you're talking too fast for the machine.
It's
No.
George.
Oh,
Paulo's from.
Can you
Hello?
hear me?
Paolo's from Brazil.
Yeah. I'm 17
from
years
Brazil.
old.
Oh, that's just
17
south of
from
here.
Brazil.
From Brazil, yes.
Very cool.
I'm glad to meet you.
Hello, Mr. George.
Say hello, George. Say hello.
Hello.
Hey, there's
Hello.
an echo going on. Is that someone else
I like.
live stream?
Yeah, I think it's
Hello?
from Paolo. Paolo, if you're watching this on TV or on your computer, make sure to turn the audio down on that.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Go ahead, ask your question.
Oh, you got your question.
I'd like to know what battles did you fight during the war, and what was the hardest?
What battles did you fight and what was the hardest?
Well, I fought on all of them, I guess, that the 101st Airborne did, which I did, and I'm not guessing. I was first in Normandy. Go ahead.
Sorry, there was just a noise that came in. Go ahead, George. You came in first in Normandy.
And then Normandy, Holland, Bastogne, Narur, Birch Garden.
Yeah,
What was the
and,
toughest
what
one
was-
for you?
Which was the hardest one for you?
All the Holland campaign is much more. Well, there's 72 days of it.
Oh, wow.
And
Tell people you were with the 327th Glider Infantry. Tell people
Yes.
like how you came in, because I mean, 101st Airborne. I think a lot of people assume you jumped in, but tell them how you came in.
In Normandy, I went on to Utah Beach. And in Holland, I went by Guider. Holland, we went, I mean, Bastogne, we went by truck.
Okay.
The rest of them was by truck.
So tell people a little bit about the glider, like what that was like.
Well, it took approximately 2.5 hours to go from our base in England to Sons, Holland. And the glider I was in, it wasn't completely destroyed, but it wasn't exactly new after we hit the ground. He put it down in some cloud and fresh plowed earth, and it went to all of the wheels all the way into the soil up to the doors.
Oh, jeez.
Standing about a 30-degree angle and higher than that before he let his tail back down.
Jeez.
And what area did you land in Holland, George?
Right outside of Sons, just west of Sons a little ways.
Okay. Very cool. So Paolo, are you familiar with, what do they teach a lot about World War II in Brazil? I know Brazil played a big part as an ally in World War II, but what's it taught like that down there?
Yes, we learn about World War II in school, but it's not enough. We should learn more about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is it pretty big at all? Because I know, the British fought with the Allies in World War II, especially in Italy, for sure. Are you, is that taught a lot about what the Brazilians did in World War II out there as well?
Yeah. What? Can you repeat, please?
No, I said the Brazilians fought with the Allies in World War II, most notably in Italy.
Yes.
Is it talked about? Is that history talked about in Brazil as it is with with the Americans in America?
The relationship between Brazilians and Americans.
No, just the service that the Brazilians did with the Allies.
Yeah, in Italy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's important, but we learn about it. Brazilians and Americans fighting side by side against the Nazis, and sometimes I think we should pay more respect to our veterans because sometimes they are forgot, and that's sad, and
Yes.
and we should pay more respect to our military.
Yeah.
But
That's what we're
I
doing.
see in the United States, what I see, the people pay a lot of respect to your veterans, and here it's not like this. The military is not like the Americans,
Right. Right. So what does it mean for you to have this opportunity to speak directly to 101st Airborne veteran of World War II, George Mullins?
Great. It's great. It's so important. It's great opportunity. I want to thank you guys of Beth Defense Foundation for this opportunity you are providing to all of us. And thank you so much.
Yeah, well,
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining
This is so
us.
cool for us.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, George, this is great. Paulo's calling. He's all the way in Brazil. He's all the way in Brazil. I don't know how far that is from here, how many miles, but it's far. And it's just wonderful to have, all these people from around the world participate and join and have this opportunity to speak directly to you.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. I thank you very much.
Cool.
I'd like to ask one more question to you, Mr. George. Were you wounded during the war?
One time.
What happened?
Tell us about that.
Tell them about it, George.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, I got hit with a piece of shrapnel. I was firing my machine gun, but between the bursts, I got so good I could hear a shell come in before it hit the ground. So I ducked, and a piece of shrapnel hit me in the shoulder. But it wasn't a bad one. If the whole shell had hit me, there wouldn't have been pieces enough to pick up.
That's a George Mullins personality, boy.
Yeah.
Anyone can make light of the situation. It's him for sure. Yeah. And where was that at, George?
Oh, that was on the outs near Opelhoes in Holland. It was near there. And that was about, we were about 10 days into the Holland campaign at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm about right on that.
And last September, for the 75th anniversary of Operation Market Garden, I know you joined us on that program back there. What was it like for you to go back again for the 75th anniversary?
Oh, I enjoy every time I go back. I enjoy my trips more all the time, especially if we go to Birch's Garden. I got some good beer.
You probably had a good time with that one, huh? That was cool.
For sure.
And we'll talk about that later too, about you coming 75 years later, the same family. Remember this?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Paolo, thanks for joining us. We're going to get some more people in. But thanks for joining us, and send us a message on Facebook or Instagram and give us your address. We can send you out a shirt.
Yeah, one of these.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Cool.
Thank you, Mr. George, for all what you did. And without you, and without each one of those who served in World War II, we don't know what would happen.
That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias. All right. Bye, Paolo.
Bye.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, Austin, I think we have who? Anyone there from BDF, the team?
Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Gwinnell waiting.
Yeah, let's bring on Gwinnell. So Gwinnell is in he's on our team, and he's in Normandy, and he's going to be leading the kickoff of our walk on D-Day. Anyone there from BDF? Hey, Gwinnell, turn down your volume.
I'm here.
Turn down your volume on the YouTube.
Yeah, okay. I'll stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Echo.
You good now?
George, remember Gwinnell?
Do you remember meeting this man?
Yeah.
I don't see him. I don't. Where is he? Where is he? There he is.
Are you, George?
I'm hanging
How are you
in
doing?
there.
You're good?
Vertical.
You remember? Hello?
Meeting him?
We hear you.
Let's
We
see.
hear you.
Tell me something about yourself. I've met too many people. I mean, not too many, but a lot of people.
George, we
it?
were together last year. Normandy on the 75th anniversary, you remember? On the ceremony of the 6th of June and the American cemetery?
See, I couldn't get both of you.
Remember that beautiful place that we stayed at in Normandy?
Anniversary of
Yes,
Normandy.
yes.
That's where you met us.
Yeah. What was his name?
Gwinnell.
What's your name? What is your name?
Gwinnell.
Gwinnell. I recall. Yeah. I recall. But I meet so many people, talk to so
George,
many
I have a
people.
question for you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have a question. You know, this year with what's happened, unfortunately, I mean, I'm still in Normandy, and we were, confined, and there is no events for the 76th anniversary. So we will try to do and locally to do something for the anniversary of the 76th. But what is really missing this year is we will not have you guys here with us. It will
He
be
said,
empty.
I see.
Which is very sad.
This is very sad. Yesterday, I've been to Point du Hoc, and I was checking for a place for a photo. I was the only person in the Point du Hoc. Imagine, on the end of May, impossible. It's crazy, so emotional.
oh, yeah. So he said, what he said, George, was he's very sad that there was no gathering this year.
Yes.
He went to take photos yesterday and was thinking about it, and it was very emotional that there's nobody there this year. So tell him how much you wish you were there this year.
I wish it had been under a different circumstances so we all could have been together, but it could be worse,
It can be.
you know, because we might not be here.
For sure.
Yeah. George, were you looking forward to going back to Normandy for the 76?
Yes, yes, I was.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
kind of unfortunate.
We'll try the 76, 77.
78,
Yeah.
79. That's right.
You're going to be around for a long time, so we'll keep bringing it back.
Yeah, we'll get to 80, but we'll get there for sure. You know, Gwinnell is in Normandy, and you know, it's going to be a big change. I mean, Gwinnell, has it ever been canceled like this since you've been
Never,
around? Never, right? Never.
Since it started after the war, it never been canceled like this. Never.
Wow.
I mean, this is.
I think it's a worldwide situation. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Crazy.
is I mean, this is very, very unique because, as you guys know, Normandy, it's a big, vast area, and it's not a big city. People think it's a big city. It's not a big city. It's kind of spread out, and it's a lot of farmlands and things like this. And this is like, really special to remember the history in this area. And there's a lot of people that look forward to this from all over the world, and it's going to be different for sure. But we want to continue to remember, especially, the anniversary of D-Day. And that's why on June 6th, we're going to be doing a virtual walk to remember the events that happened on June 6th. And Gwinnell, you're going to be kicking it off at 06:30 on Omaha Beach. And, we're going to walk as far as we can. But, the distance that we're trying to get is 3.1 miles from Omaha Beach to Point du Hoc. And we'll be putting the link later on. But you want to talk about you lead a charge in Omaha Beach on June 6th?
can you repeat again?
Yeah, just because what's going to be going on June 6th on Omaha
Okay.
Beach. We're going to be doing our virtual walk.
Yeah, I have no idea who I'm going to see and to find on June 6th in Omaha Beach at 6:30 in the morning. What I wanted to say is why Normandy is also for the local people, why the anniversary is so important, because that was the first step to the beginning of the freedom. You came to make our country and Europe free from those Nazis. So that's why, I mean, it's not only a festival, and I don't like this word. It's really something to every year we do remember, and we don't want to forget. That's why Normandy, it was the first step you put in France. And that's why it's so important in Normandy, much bigger than maybe south of France or middle of France. So on this year, the plan is to be there, of course, at 6:30. Omaha Beach just reopened today for some.
Wow.
Yeah. Utah is still closed, so we are waiting for the news for Utah. They are reopening the beaches for some of them. So we plan to go there at 6:30 to make sure we'll be ready at 6:30, and to try to show you as much as possible a quick overview of Omaha Beach, little tips or reminders, about what was that place on the 6th of June 1944, and then we'll move quickly to Point du Hoc. The same with a little history of that place or a reminder for some people.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful because although, everyone's not going to be there, we can still be there virtually, and you'll be leading the charge for that. So thank you so much for that.
You're most
So
welcome.
make sure
Thank
you tune
guys.
in, George. I mean, unfortunately, won't be able to go back this year, but you can, certainly, see what's going on there right now. It's just nice to hear that they opened up the beach today.
Yeah, today, the first day.
Is the cemetery open yet or not yet?
No, not yet. Point du Hoc is, it's an open place. So it's open, but you cannot go inside the bunkers. There is the visitor center is also closed because it's managed also by ABMC. So as we're still waiting, maybe most probably the 2nd of June, hopefully.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
Well, cool. Yeah. So everybody mark on your calendars, June 6th, we're going to be doing a walk for veterans and everybody can participate. We'll have ways, there'll be different things. You can buy a shirt, you can buy a challenge coin. I think we're even doing a hat. It's gonna be a big event. People all over the world doing it with us, with the veterans on June 6th. And it'll be being kicked off on Omaha Beach. So everybody put June 6th on your calendar, and we're gonna be doing some announcements of exactly what it's gonna entail and how to participate. So it's gonna be a really cool event that we want everybody to join in on.
Absolutely.
Cool way for us to all come together, wall apart, and celebrate these guys and honor them.
Wonderful.
For sure. Well, Gwinnell, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very
We'll talk
much.
to you later, and we're going to get some more
pleasure.
people in
Yeah,
here.
sure. Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Thanks for coming in. All right, we got a lot of people waiting to get in here, so we're going to go ahead and start bringing them in. How you doing, George? Can you hear me?
George, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
I'm looking for you right now.
Is your Wi-Fi spotty a little bit, George?
Yeah, that's a little spotty sometimes. All right, we got Jaden here.
Wow, this is amazing. I didn't think I'd be here today. This is great.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing all right, sir. How are you?
Doing great. You were on live with George Mullins.
How you doing, sir?
He can hear you.
I'm doing good. I'm vertical. There you are.
How you doing, sir?
So, Jaden, how old are you and where are you from?
I am 19 years old and I'm from Houston, Texas.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you got George here, so go ahead and talk away.
Well, I have a couple questions. Well, at least two. I know the first one I wanted to ask is in regards to I guess one of my favorite aspects about the military. I've had family fight in every American conflict since the American Revolution.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to follow my family's footsteps by joining into the Air Force, becoming a pilot for the United States Air Force.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I think so far with my military experience, quote unquote, is just the people that you meet and the relationships that you build.
Right.
And I want to know kind of an experience that you've had with the people that you fought with. Like one of the best moments that you've had with the people that you fought with.
So George, what was your best relationship that you had in your time during the war? A memorable relationship you had?
Tell them about Parker.
Well, I had a fellow that I stayed in the foxhole most of the time with up in Holland, especially, and his name was Herschel C. Parker from Dallas, Texas. And I nicknamed him my big brother. In the story, I tell quite a bit about it.
Very cool.
So tell us about him.
Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, tell us about him.
Well, he wasn't in Normandy with me, and he was in Holland, and there this has to do with a tank attack. So, but anyway, the story could go on and on. We don't have time for that. But anyway, he beat me to the machine gun while a tank run over top of me, and he went around the east side of the big windmill, and he started firing on the Germans that was coming in the meadow there. And he says the infantry was trying to pick up the big tank. Gotta get all messed up here.
Thanks,
My, yeah,
Yeah.
he repelled them, and he got the Silver Star over that.
Wow.
I have my feelings about medals. I have one. I believe that every person that ever in a combat area, he volunteers for a patrol, he should have a Silver Star.
I agree with you. I mean, they're risking.
There's something about patrols. Nobody's telling anybody they have to go. It's all a volunteer. And that's what that medal's for. But anyway, Parker, he got his there. They dished out very few medals I see in the service then. Now I think you could easily get a medal, but not then. It was very hard. They didn't recognize what a person was doing. Someone wasn't. So at the time of war, we were all new at this war anyway. So, but in my book, I have, I suppose, pros and cons about a lot of things. And the book's the title of the book is Foxhole.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, George's been working on this book for a long time.
George?
What did you say?
I didn't get it. Come again?
Come again?
I said, you want to talk about your book that you're writing and when it's going to be finished and when it's going to come out, so we can look forward to it.
Well, we're trying to get it out before the end of June, but I don't think we'll make it. That we've had some schedules, a lot that we had to go over. My helper, he's a little slow sometimes, and sometimes he's quite fast too.
Yeah,
I'm not so good myself. Without him, I could have never wrote the book. Not only that.
We're all looking very forward to that being finished.
Yeah, we are, because I'll tell you.
If you're not a military man, you don't know what I'm talking about anyway.
Well, George,
So I'm very lucky to have Jay with me. Believe me, he's my right hand.
Yeah, Jay's also a veteran as well of Vietnam War. I mean,
yeah,
you talk about servicemen, you guys exemplify that fully, and we're so grateful,
cool.
So thankful for sure.
Yeah, especially for those Vietnam
Jaden, what's your other question?
My other question, it's a little bit of it's an interesting question. So what I want to know is if you had the chance to kind of take a look back at your life, especially during that time of war, would you do anything different?
If you had the chance to change anything about your life during the war, would you change anything?
I got him thinking.
I got to tell him the answer. If there was something about the war that you could have changed about your life, what would that be?
It's all written in the stars.
That's your answer, George.
Understand me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we heard it. It was what it was.
Yeah. I'm very thankful to be here today. If it weren't for you gentlemen such as yourself who fought for our freedoms, not just for Americans' lives, but around the world, the world would be completely different today if it weren't for you gentlemen.
For sure.
Yeah, no, you get it for sure. It's your generation that's going to pay it forward and remember what the men and women, what they did, 75 years ago, and how it changed the course of history so that we can have the freedoms that we have today. I mean, it's all in the backs of the men and women that serve, and everyone that serves, and we should never forget, never ever forget. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and
Thank you for having me.
excited for your service, coming up for sure.
Thank you. I'll try to do my best to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful for men like this, men like Jay and everyone that served. It's an honor, for sure. We want to make
It's
sure
an honor
that
to talk with you gentlemen today, and it's been a complete pleasure. I did not think I'd be here today, so thank you. Thank you for
Glad
what
you
the
could
Best
join
Events
us.
Foundation's doing, and just it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. So cool. So we're all going to get together, together on June 6th. So we're going to, remember on June 6th what happened on that fateful day. Although the commemoration is not going to be going on in Normandy, we're still going to try to bring some emphasis to it and make sure that we remember the fallen and honor our veterans. So
Absolutely.
Sure. Cool. Well,
Thank
Jaden,
you.
thanks for coming by.
My pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mullins, for having me. You too as well.
All right.
all right,
Have a good one.
Of course.
Right on.
Yeah, he said he wants to be a pilot.
Oh,
Yeah.
he wants to be a pilot. Hey, that's right down my alley. I love that flying plane.
He said
All
he
right,
wants
let's
to
bring
fly
someone
a-
else in here. I have a feeling I know who this is. Hey, there they are.
So much for joining us, and excited for your service.
Oh, turn off your audio on your computer because we can hear the echo. Where's Max at?
Yeah, where's Max?
Max, oh, there he is.
Max is coming.
Oh, right on.
Hello, Rainey. No?
Oh, we need your volume on. Their volume's not on. Hey, there's Max. Hey.
Let's
We're all gonna
see.
get together. June. So we're gonna.
I gotta mute him. Hey, you guys, make sure you
There
turn
she
off
is.
the audio
There
on
he
your
is.
YouTube feed. Mute your YouTube feed, whatever you're watching this on.
Yeah, because it's echoing.
Yeah. So for anybody coming in, make sure whatever you're watching this on, mute that before the Zoom starts, because then we won't be able to hear you otherwise. Okay, so let's see. Did you get it?
All right, have a good one.
Not yet.
Right on. Yeah, he's gonna be he said he wants to be a pilot.
I could still hear the.
Yeah, it's echoing.
He wants to be a pilot. Hey, that's right down my alley.
I can't find
I
it.
love that flying plane.
Said he wants to bring someone else in
Bummer.
here.
Austin, I can't
I have
find
a
it.
feeling I know who this is.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
Well,
there they are. We'll come to end of YouTube.
yeah, just close
understand?
YouTube.
Your audio on your computer.
Audio.
Yeah, close YouTube and then just watch on the Zoom.
Yeah, where's Max?
Max, oh, there he is.
Can you see Max, George?
Right
Can
on.
you see me?
Hello, Rainey. Max, I see you, Max, way over to the left. Hi, Max.
All right, that's
Hello?
better?
I think we
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. All right.
There we go.
How are you guys doing?
Good. We missed you.
Oh, we missed you too. Been thinking about you guys for sure. Max, how you doing, buddy?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, we all are. Sure. What about this guy right here?
It's going to be different for
What
everybody,
did you
the
say?
direction of where people are. You just pointed at Max on my screen.
Oh yeah. What about George Mullins down there? George, say hello to Max.
Say hi to Max.
Hi, Max. Hey,
Hi,
that's
How you
bright and shiny, beautiful teeth.
I have a question for George. Do I have a question? Let's see.
Make sure you talk
There
loud,
she
Max.
is.
You guys are kind
Yeah,
of quiet.
talk a little louder. It's kind of hard to hear you guys. So just speak up.
So when were you the most scared in the war?
When were you most scared in the war, George? When you were under the tank?
No, I was scared all the time.
Yeah.
No, I can. There's something about combat. I always call it the what do they call it? The ghost?
Combat goes.
Oh, the combat ghost. Yeah, that took over from the scared. You get past scaring or something, it's a different feeling. I don't know what the other guys felt, but from the time you enter combat till you're out of it, well, I call it the combat ghost. He takes over and pretty well rules your life. I'd like to tie him up somewhere and leave him.
Hey, George, do you ever get used to it where like, it's, at first, I know it's kind of like, I mean, you said you were scared the whole entire time, but do you get used to it over time when you're in combat for a long time? Do you get not immune to it, but kind of used to it where you're not really scared or really thinking about being scared?
Do you ever get used to that scared feeling, or do you just learn to shut it off?
Oh, you have to shut it off or you'd go crazy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. It's very hard to explain a person's feelings and what he thinks. But as long as that 88 missed you, that's like a good day.
Yeah. For sure.
That artillery it's mean stuff. It's not as mean as this virus, I don't think.
So,
Oh,
did
yeah?
you ever have any nightmares about the war? And
Ask him to say it again.
Say it again, Max.
did you ever have any nightmares about the war?
Nightmares? Did you ever have nightmares, George?
I did after the war. Now I seldom ever dream, but right after the war, I must have had because I was boarding with a lady. She was an older lady, and she said, "Man, you had a hard day, a hard night last night." So you went crazy. So I must have been out of hand or something. I don't know where I got up and banged on the wall or beat my head against the wall. I don't know. Yeah, one time I dreamed a lot. I don't seldom ever dream now. I don't know what it is, why change of my thinking or something,
Wow.
But if you're speaking of a nightmare like you wake up, hey, I woke up many times. Those booby traps still with me.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, we're glad you're still with us, George.
Just ask her to
Oh,
say it
yeah.
again.
Say again.
Oh.
I said we're glad you're still with us, George.
You see that, George?
And you're
Oh,
still
that's a
with
cool
us,
picture.
George.
Oh,
There's a little video of you and Max in Holland.
Hey,
Yeah, they were very close over there.
Oh, yeah.
how about that one?
Yeah,
That's a
they were
good
very close, inseparable. Good buddies.
So,
Yeah, he was with me all the time that he could. He was on the Jeep everywhere with me.
Yep, everywhere you went.
I think
And
he
you're
became my shadow there.
Remember,
Yeah, I did.
you're on the siren.
Yeah, we're
So,
going to
Max,
get together. I hope
Say it
one of
again,
these
Max.
days he can come over. I'm going to take him to the redwoods.
All right.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, we got to get you out.
Yeah, that's what he plans on.
Nice.
I got a lot of places to take him.
Cool. Max,
So,
did you
Take
have
it.
another question?
yeah. Do you have any advice for the youth of nowadays?
What do you
George,
say?
do you have any advice for the youth of today?
Oh, yes. I don't know if you were born with common sense or not, but I wish people would use more common sense than they use it. I'm a great guy to believe in common sense. My grandpa, he wasn't educated, but he had common sense. And
Okay.
as soon as a young person can get his thing together, why he should make a point to study or make goals to go through to try to reach those goals, because if you keep on trying, you might get to that goal, but if you don't try, you're not going to get anywhere. I'd say especially for the young people, lay off the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All drugs. Yes, it's taken over. The drugs it's a very sad situation on the drugs.
Sure.
It'll ruin your brain.
I know.
I didn't experience that because I've never taken drugs. Many a day since I even took an aspirin tablet. So
That's why you're such a spry 96-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm afraid to damage some of those cells that I need out there. It's way up in my brain. I might sound crazy, but I'm not really crazy.
Oh,
I do a lot of thinking. Excuse me.
Well, Max,
I do a lot
Max
of thinking. I
Max and
always did
family,
do a
it was
lot
so
of
good to see
thinking.
you guys. What'd you say, George?
What did you say?
He said, what did you just say?
I said I've always did a lot of thinking.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all the time thinking. I think everybody must. That's the brain, I think. If everybody's like me, their brain's never still, not until he's asleep, and sometimes not then. It's trying to think something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
Before we let you guys go, I just want to say thank you guys
Yeah.
so much again for all of your work that you guys did to make the 75th anniversary of the southern part of Limburg.
Oh,
amazing.
thank you. It's a joy.
It was
Yeah.
it was perfect. It was amazing. George, I know you loved it. I mean, just going from town to town and the Jeeps and all the people and I mean everything. It was just wonderful. So it wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah, it turned out perfect.
Yeah. So thank you.
Especially that breakfast of a morning.
Oh, it was good.
he loved the breakfasts.
Everything was great about it. Everything was great about
If
it.
you had that breakfast, you didn't eat anything the rest of the day.
You did. I saw you.
That was the most
Yeah.
important. We
Okay.
love you guys.
Well, Bauer family, thanks so much for joining us
Yeah.
all the way from the Netherlands.
All the way from
All
the
right.
Max, great to see you.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh, George?
Wow.
Getting to see some old friends.
Sure is.
George, that was your family out there in Holland.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You guys were
Yeah, I got friends over in England I'd like to see. I'd like to see those family. In fact, I know of a family over there. I met Harry there and met him in '94, and he was a tour bus guide. And I keep track of him. He has his daughter with him, and he's still doing pretty good.
Cool.
He's an older guy too. He was about 18 or something like that during the war, but he was a bobby. The guy carried his stick.
Wow.
Yeah, very interesting.
Well, we got John here. John, how's it going? Can you hear us?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. So,
Hello, John.
Where are you from? Have we talked to you
So
before?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, I was on with Stu last week.
Yeah.
See that
Yeah,
shirt?
I'm repping the merch.
Let's see the
Yeah,
shirt.
you got that shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, you're on with Mr. George Mullins.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Mullins.
Hello, John. There you are.
How are you doing?
What can I do for you?
Well, I just got a couple questions. So, first, why did you join the military, and why did you pick the Army?
So why did you join the military? John?
Well, in a way, I joined and I got drafted at the same time. So
Okay.
I was going to get drafted anyway, so I just joined up with the draft. Well, all my friends, they were all going to the service, so why not for me? Well, at that time, if you was 18 years old, when you became 18 years old, you're drafted. And you had to be almost in a wheelchair, they drafted everybody.
Yeah.
So why the Army, George?
Why the Army? Well, the Navy just didn't sound just right for me. I was more of a rifleman and a hunter and a fisherman, and I just couldn't see that on that boat. All you see is water,
Yep. I can agree with that.
except combat. You see something different there. But I thought about going in the Navy, but I backed away from it because I figured that I was a pretty good Army boy already because I grew up rough and in the country and knew how to shoot a gun and all that. I was
Yes, sir.
pretty well along and when I went to the service. And besides, I was very well physically fit because with a full field pack, I could go 30 miles. So I think I was pretty good shape.
Wow. Wow.
I'd say so.
Wow, that's a long way. Hey, George, what'd you carry during the war? So what weapon did you carry? What rifle? Did you have
A machine gun. Most of the time I carried a machine gun.
30 cal?
Tell them about the machine gun. Tell them about your 30 caliber.
Oh, the 30 caliber machine gun. It weighs 31 pounds. It's recoil operated and belt fed. And it has an ammunition box sitting beside it if someone's not carrying it with 250 rounds.
You're a gunner, right?
Mine was air cooled.
Was it the Browning?
Browning, a 19 and 18 model.
Nice.
Okay. Wow.
That's nice.
And how many people are part of that team? So you have how many people are part of your team?
Your machine gun squad.
Oh, that was 6 people. You had a staff sergeant that was in command of the 2 squads. There's in the section there's two machine guns, and then you have what they call a 3-stripe, a buck sergeant. He is sergeant over the machine gunner, the second machine gunner, which carries the tripod and everything else. And then you got 2 ammunition bearers. They have 2 boxes of ammunition, and they were 250 rounds each.
And how
So
heavy was the
you
ammunition?
got 500 rounds there.
How heavy was the ammunition? So if the
box of ammo.
Did we ever weigh that?
No.
Box of ammo had to weigh more.
Well, about 40 pounds each, I guess.
Yeah.
40
No, it
pounds.
wouldn't weigh that.
15, 20 pounds, right? Ammo box. How much was your ammo box?
Yeah, but it wasn't 40 pounds, I don't think. Not one of them. I don't really know the weight of one box of ammunition.
Yeah.
The pack is to weigh 60 pounds.
And how much did you weigh at the time?
I weighed 150 pounds.
150
I
pounds.
used to think I only weighed 135, but I looked up my records and I believe it says 150.
Nice.
You've been living a lie all these years.
The most of my life, I've weighed about between 170 and 180. Right now, I'm back down 154, I think. I'm drying up.
Yeah. When did you get out of the Army, and then what did you do afterwards?
Oh, goodness. I could write another book. I migrated, my family migrated to the West Coast to Washington, state of Washington, and I became a logger. And I worked at that 13 years. During that time, I went back to service again during the Korean War, but I didn't go to combat. I went to the Army Security Agency attached to it. And after I came back, I worked 13 years as a logger. And then I got the opportunity to go into the heavy construction with backhoes and as excavators. And I owned my own business. For 35 years, I pulled those. I still got my fingers. I can move my fingers.
Sounds like a pretty good life.
Well, I didn't do any good until I was 40 years old. I got out of the ditch, out of that logging and this and that and the other, and I got into construction. And I did all right for myself. And I finally married a beautiful lady, Mexican lady. She could speak 2 or 3 different languages. But anyway, she was into the restaurant business. I know quite a bit about the restaurant business. I know enough to stay out of them.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
I've had an interesting life, but a dangerous life. On the side, beside that logging, one of the dangerous occupations. I fished for 11 years in the ocean there for salmon. That was another dangerous one. And I decided when before I left, I always was interested in flying. And I got enough money to buy my own plane because I figured it's a cheaper way to go than pay it out by the hour. So I bought this little plane, beautiful little plane. And I learned to fly. I was a good pilot, but I had a close call with that, and I'm lucky I'm here too. That was one of my dreams, is to be a pilot. And I learned more in that book work than any other course that I was a Class A construction owner of a certificate at that time also. And
were you always a thrill seeker, George? Always looking for something dangerous when you were younger?
I guess I was. Yeah,
Still looking for something.
Like, yeah, put me in a glider.
Yeah, exactly.
That glider, that's something else. Now, if you ride something without an engine, you got it.
You got to be a little nuts.
That was just an adventure for me. But I always thought if I could have only been a pilot, I could have. To this day, I believe I could take over with just a few little bit. I believe I could put that thing on the ground safely. I do. I'm very comfortable. I will back to my. I learned on a stick job. I flew a 210 quite a bit. 210 is Cessna, which is a beautiful plane. My brother owned that. But for something interesting about my family, I noticed, I thought of it the other night. There was 4 of us boys learning to fly and on planes at the same time in life. Same brothers, 4 of us in the plane.
Did any of your brothers serve with you in the military?
The one that lives in Fairfield here, he retired with 20 years as a flight engineer. He flew the big boxcars. His health's not too good, but he's still alive. He still lives here in Fairfield at Travis, you know.
Yeah.
He retired right. He spent a lot of time in Travis, so he bought some land, built a house after he retired there.
Wow.
Good man.
It's awesome.
Very cool. Well, John, thanks for coming by again. We're going to try. We got a long list of people waiting here, so we're going to try to get as many as possible. So,
all right,
John, where are you from?
I want to thank you for your service. It's greatly appreciated. everything that you and your buddies did for us. We remember it. We will remember it.
There you go.
And George asked, where are you from again, John?
I'm from Stillwater, Oklahoma.
That's right. Stillwater, Oklahoma, George.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not the Dust Bowl.
No, sir. I'll be going
All
up
right,
north
cool.
pretty soon anyway.
Yeah.
All right. See you later, John.
See you later, guys.
Good to talk with you, John.
All right, so we got a lot of people waiting in the waiting room right now. So we're gonna try and get as many in as we can. We're gonna just go in
Maybe I'll
order.
learn how to remember it more, how to get used to this.
A lot of people
All
wanna
right, so
talk
I don't
to you.
know what we got here. We got looks
Doug
like
and Lori.
Doug and Lori.
Hey, Doug and Lori, how you doing today?
I've heard of Doug and Lori.
You've heard of Doug and Lori?
Oh yeah, long time. I've known them for a couple of days.
All right, we'll say hello
A
to
couple days.
They're my
Can you guys hear
Doug
us?
is my son. Lori is my daughter-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Right.
We got some family here.
They're from Tacoma, Washington.
Okay.
You know, near Portland there.
Nice.
There they are. As a surprise.
Yeah.
Little family reunion.
Oh, yeah, we can hear
We can hear
Hey.
you.
Hey, Doug, you're getting bald-headed. What's going on?
losing my hair. It's great listening to you guys.
Yeah.
Nah, I think that's you just inherited that from your grandpa.
Yeah, that happens.
Hey, Doug, tell us some stories about George.
What's that?
Tell us a story about George.
I can remember. Yeah.
Tell us something funny about him.
Oh, he's telling a story about me.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he's got a lot of stories.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Not
a
all
lot
of
of
good.
stories.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear him at all.
Oh,
Hey,
he
Doug,
can't
you
hear
have a
you.
story?
Well, I can. One time when back in his logging days, I'm telling you a story. So we were up in the woods and eating lunch, and I asked my dad, "Where's the chairs?" You know, and there was no chairs.
Uh-oh.
No
He's like, no.
chairs.
He's like, we didn't have any chairs in the war.
You know, you think he gave me a bucket or something like that?
And you laugh and say, "There's no chairs."
No what?
No chairs to sit down.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
no, he got
Well, cool.
your voice is gone. No
Yeah.
voice.
I remember.
You broke up.
I remember working out at going to when he worked out of town in the woods too, or construction. We would go. Me and my brothers would usually a lot of times go along with him, and we'd do fishing and all kinds of stuff with him.
He's just telling us.
Nice.
Oh, to
Nice.
them.
Well, cool.
I don't have
Thanks
to
for
hear.
coming by, guys. We got a lot of
Oh,
people
that's-
coming in here, so we're gonna try and move people through as fast as we can. It's good to see you. Say goodbye, George.
Say goodbye to your son.
Nice talking.
Goodbye now.
Thanks, Lori.
All right. Awesome.
Got a little family reunion on here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't think your son wanted to tell us any stories about his.
Yeah, he sounded like he had some good dirt, but he wasn't gonna dish
yeah.
it out.
Oh yeah.
So George,
George.
Yes.
we got
Oui,
Ron here
si.
from Barcelona.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
That's
Yeah,
Spain.
Ron from Barcelona.
Spain.
Yes, Spain.
Sure, good.
So
George is like,
He's like, what?
what's on his head?
He's from Spain?
So
Well,
Ron, you're on with George Mullins, Gliderman. What you got for him?
my first question is, is if the landing was rough in Holland.
So George, was the landing rough in Holland is what he asked.
When you landed in Holland on your glider, tell them how rough of a landing it was.
Oh, in the first place, you're a beautiful lady.
Hey, Ron, he's full of jokes. He's always joking. You gotta understand, George. He's always joking. Trust me. And if you don't laugh, he'll twist you. He'll touch you a little bit and make you laugh. He's all about jokes.
Go ahead and tell her a story.
Tell them about your
Ron.
You're talking to his name is Ron.
His name is Ron.
Bye,
How old are you again?
The glider landing. Better get my mind off the beautiful lady and tell her about by landing. Well, I won't tell you all of it, but when we landed in some plowed earth, and the plane, it didn't level out and do that. It went in like at a 30-degree angle, and it stood almost on its end, on its front end, and the guys were tied to their straps, and they were stretched tight. But I thought we was all going to go through the windshield, but we didn't. The thing settled back down, and we got out of our fast as we could. So that was a lucky. But a lot of the gliders, they crashed, but all of them didn't. The people think they all crashed, but some of them didn't crash. It was, and just like paratroopers, they all didn't hit the ground alive. They got killed, same as we did. You know, and they give a glider a bad name on it. It's called a flying coffin, but there wasn't all flying coffins because I'm here.
Yeah. Hey, George, on your landing, did anyone in your glider get injured?
Did anybody get injured in your glider?
No, they didn't. Other than some of them might have got their back pulled out of shape, but they got out of there in a hurry. They're about the only injury was I got air sick because there's so many of them vomiting that gets me. If I see a person vomiting, I got to help him out. I don't make a difference where it is.
Wow.
I can't go for that.
You talk about being a team player. Way to go.
Oh. I got quite a story in my story about that.
Yeah. So George, Ron is a young man from Barcelona.
Ron.
First off.
A lady, it's a man named Ron.
Oh, now you got me out. Nah.
Yeah, but we don't
You know
blame
something? I'll show you something.
Let you pass.
Look at
Okay,
here.
so-
Look at here. Wait. Look at this.
Oh yeah, this is Jay with the beautiful long hair.
Wow.
This Puerto Rican. Hey, you should have told me this in the beginning. Because
Who said his name was Ron?
Ron.
I don't
women
know.
named Ron?
You couldn't tell it different.
Ron, I told you, man. George is full of jokes, and he's always.
You know, there's a lot of people got it in for a long-haired guy. You know the reason why? He's so bald-headed. He's just jealous about it.
All right, Ron. You got
I
another
didn't
question?
mean to do that. Call a man a lady. But anyway, if he's a nice-looking guy, I would tell you.
Thank you.
Not Jay.
Yeah, Ron's all the way in Spain, and he's really interested in military history, especially World War II. And you know, Ron, how old are you again?
11.
11 years
11.
old. 11 years old. And you know,
11 years old. Oh.
Yeah, he's you know, he's really interested in it, and he's been joining us every week. being able to talk to you guys, because it's rare for someone that lives where he lives to have an opportunity to speak directly to a veteran.
Oh, I'm happy to meet him.
George, can you adjust
I
your
won't make that mistake.
Yeah, bring your
adjust your camera a little bit? All we see is your ceiling. There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
All right, Ron, you got another question for him?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Ron.
My next question is, what was your task in the glider infantry?
What was your task in your infantry? Is that what you said?
In the
Glider infantry.
Yeah. What was your task in the glider infantry?
What did you do in the glider infantry? What was your job?
Oh, I was a machine gunner. Most of the time I was a machine gunner. If I wasn't, I was a second machine gunner.
Okay.
When you were in the glider, what position were you in?
What?
When you were in the glider, tell them about how you sit
weren't
in the
flying, you weren't
glider.
controlling it, were you?
Oh, I said I was on the left side, the port side, and all the way to the rear. The last man there was 15 guys sitting facing each other.
Okay.
There was only one parachute in there, if there was one, and the pilot was sitting on it.
Oh wow.
No parachute.
There was one parachute per glider?
No, yeah, one parachute for a glider, and the pilot sat on it. That's it. Yeah, they couldn't.
That's why
They couldn't have got. They couldn't have got out of that thing anyway.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah,
Don't do that around because then they
Still
can't
got
see
tears
you.
in my eyes from earlier. Whew. Okay, well, Ron, it was good to see you again. I'm sure this will be a memorable conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we'll see you again, Ron. I'm sure you get some
Ron,
more
thanks
people
for joining
in.
us, buddy. Thanks for
Bye.
joining us and spending the time for sure.
Bye.
See you, buddy. See you next time.
Say
Bye.
goodbye, George.
Oh, goodbye. It is my pleasure to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Oh, that was fun. Oh,
Yeah.
my face hurts. Woo. All right, we're gonna keep bringing people in. We'll probably, since we're getting late, we got a lot of people waiting. We'll limit it to one question, but we're just going in order. So if anybody's waiting, just keep waiting. We're going in order. All right. Let's see, what do we got here? Maxime.
That sounds like a woman's voice.
Hey there.
How do you say your name?
Maxim. Well, you can say Max.
Max. We'll call him Max.
George, we have Max.
Where are you at, Max?
That's man.
Montreal, Canada.
Montreal,
Canada.
Watch that.
Hey.
Yeah, so my name is French.
Canada.
So George, you're on with Max from Canada.
Glad to meet you, Max. What
Hello,
part of
sir.
Canada?
Sorry?
He
What
said
part of Canada?
Quebec,
Montreal.
so it's in the east. It's in, well, I live in, near Montreal.
You speak Spanish, I mean French, don't you?
Yeah, I speak French.
Well, Max,
Yeah.
go ahead and ask the question.
Well, I'll try to word it as good as I can.
Yes.
Okay.
Like how when you joined the army and you knew you were going to war, like when did you at first realize like the sacrifice you might do, and like if not, like was it because of like everyone was doing it at that time, and like when did you realize that you might give your life at war?
Okay, so George, he's basically saying when you joined the army, when did you realize that you might have to pay the ultimate sacrifice going into it? Like, did it really hit you in the beginning that you could possibly die and pay the ultimate sacrifice?
Do you understand that?
Normandy, I guess.
So that's your
It
answer.
would be in Normandy.
Upon landing?
So like after you landed, it kind of hit you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And what was that
Makes
feeling
sense.
like when it hit you, George? Like what was that feeling like? Did you just come resolved with it and resolute about it, or did you? I mean, what was that feeling like for you?
What did it feel like when you realized, explain what it felt like when you realized that this is for real and you could die?
When I really figured it's all over with is when we made a river crossing, and what it was, our own mortars got us, and when you get in this position, so many shells hitting the ground, and I didn't realize it, even under those conditions that I didn't realize that I was going to die. It was still trying to survive. But in what I'm telling you, next morning, there was 40 men dead and wounded in the field.
40.
And as far as I know today, I was the only one left out of a 13-man section. My sergeants got killed. The people who were with me, they either got wounded or killed. But I've seen some of their gravestones in Normandy, which is my sergeants. They were there. One of the sergeants, one was from the state here. They had him interned and brought back here. But you wonder if this is combat. Is it going to be this way all the way through to the end of the war? Well, you don't have much of a chance this is going to happen every night. Yeah. A lot of things go through your head. But it was this, I'm very, in my story, I bear down on the people that kill their own men. I don't care what I've did, but I'm a whistleblower, I guess, and I'll keep on doing it till I die. It's uncalled for. When you lose 1,000 men in one little operation on practice, that's no good. And it happened, but it's been all covered up, I guess, until I got this book out. It's been out, but who goes on it? It's been online a few years, I'm sure. But the truth's out now. And I don't care. Just so it's the truth. There's nothing wrong with telling the truth. But the thing of it, the truth will catch up with you. After if you tell lies and tell lies, it'll finally catch up with you. The truth will come out. And that's what I've seen in the war. These covering up after they've killed their men is no good. I hope everybody enjoys my book. It is every day. It's not the next company or the next field over. Not sure there's 9 tanks over there, but I didn't see them. I don't write that in my book. It's just in my little world.
Yeah.
The things that I seen and I did with the few men that I was with, my squad, my section, my company. No farther my company. I don't write outside of that. And you can follow my story from day to day almost, but Jay didn't tell me to keep a diary. I'd have kept a diary. And he didn't tell me to take his camera either. So we don't have too many pictures.
Yeah.
Well, I'll buy the book for sure.
No, for sure.
wait for that book.
George, it's everybody sees the war through different lenses, right? So you have the macro view and you have the micro view and you have the view from the actual foot soldier where you were. And we're looking forward to your book. Can't wait for it to come out. I know Max is going to get it, and we're all really interested in, in seeing and what you saw during the war. And Max, I see in the back right there, you have an ammo can. You want to grab that real quick?
Yeah, I can.
That's probably was that the kind of ammo box you guys were trudging around in?
Yeah, with the 30 cal.
I'm not sure from which war it is.
What do you say?
It's 5.56. I don't know if you guys were using that. No, huh?
Where's that?
Ammo box hasn't changed though. It's still the same.
Is that what it's talking about?
It's in 30 cal.
Yeah, that's 30 caliber. That's a 30 caliber.
25 pounds.
Oh, 25 pounds. Is that empty or loaded?
No, it's empty. I'm not that strong.
No, it weighs very little empty. 25 pounds. Hey, two of them is 50 pounds.
Yeah,
Put that on 60-pound pack and some more stuff. Put carbine on your hip, and that's some more weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you carried two. When I was an ammunition bearer, I was an ammunition bearer until that morning. I didn't last long in combat until I went from an ammunition bearer to a machine gunner. One night, next morning, I was a machine gunner.
Just like that. Oh, geez.
Of course, I was good with a machine gun. The reason why, it has to do with the sights. It was a V sight. I grew up with a V sight, and that peep sight was the worst sight was ever sent into combat.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all right on your firing range and all that, but not in combat because you can't see through it.
Yeah.
You got rain, you got everything. Smoke, you got everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Max, thanks for joining us, man. Send us a message on Facebook or Instagram and get us your address, and we'll send you out a shirt.
Well, thank you guys for doing what you do, and thank you to you, George.
Thank you, John, and it's good to meet a Canadian. I used to live up close to Canada in Washington, state of Washington.
Yeah, well, it's a great honor to have the chance to speak to a veteran like you. I would never thought like that would happen in my life. So thank you to Donnie and all the crew.
Absolutely.
Well, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
And join us on June 6th for our virtual walk to honor and recognize our veterans that served on June 6th and all the other veterans and all the ones that we lost as well. So love to have you be a part of our virtual walk, and so we can always remember and never forget. Thank you.
Right.
Make sure you're following us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We'll make more announcements about it.
All right. Thank you, Max.
All right.
See you.
Have a good one. Thanks.
That's what my head of hair used to look like. I was curly headed.
Your hair used to look like that?
You had curly hair, George?
What is that?
He said that was your hair, George?
Yeah, that's
curly
what it
hair.
looked like at one time.
I said you had curly hair, huh?
I
See, we
had curly
got
hair, yeah.
Veronika here.
All right, George, we have a woman.
This is actually a lady.
Thank you.
George.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Veronika.
Your name?
How you doing? Where are you from?
Well,
Veronika?
The other way.
Oh,
Veronika?
went sideways. Flip your phone. You just
Hello,
went sideways.
how are you?
I'm pretty well.
Turn your
Flip
phone.
your phone the other way. You went sideways.
Like
There you
this?
go.
See it. What's
Okay.
it? Something sideways here.
That's somebody else.
Yeah.
not you.
Oh, it's somebody.
How
else.
old are you? and Where are you
There she
from?
I'm 13 and I'm from Slovakia, which is in Europe, actually.
Slovakia. Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Slovakia.
Slovakia.
13.
Flip your phone. You just went
Hello,
sideways.
how are you? You're a beautiful lady.
Thank you.
Oh, you just flipped your phone sideways
Like
again.
this? Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
You got a question for George?
Question.
Yeah, I do have one. And my question is, did you take some life lessons from the time you served in World War II? Do you have some lesson to share with us, or something that you used in your life?
They got out of there in a hurry.
So she's asking if you have any life lessons that you took with you from your experiences in the war that you could share.
Life lessons, George. What did you come away with the war? What kind of thing would you tell somebody about life after fighting the war?
Goodness, I don't know what to say there. One thing I'm great at telling someone to use common sense.
Yeah.
I know that history repeats itself, so you're gonna watch this. People that tries to be kings and dictators and presidents and all that. I would say for the whole world to don't let it happen again.
Yeah. Yeah. George, what about you? I know you explained to us where you lost part of your company there, and you were one of the only ones that survived. You know, like that feeling of survival and resiliency of keep going strong. You know, did that give you strength in your life after the war to know that you could do anything and overcome anything and survive and fight in life after the war?
I suppose it did. I've had some close calls after the war. Yeah, very, like I said, it was on that ocean. That was a dangerous one. And the fisherman, I think, is the most dangerous one on the West Coast as far as occupation. And I had about my part of it. I wouldn't do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
I would go fishing, but I wouldn't take the chances I did.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
that's the same way as I'm glad I did get out from being a logger. I never learned anything, but it's try to stay alive. That's the only thing I learned in logging. And
well, I'm sure you learned more and brought that over to, you know, to keep you alive and keep you strong in the logging business for so many years.
Yeah.
So
what was that?
he said he's certain that your experiences in the war also helped you to survive as a logger.
It's helped me many ways in making judgments. Has to do with being, of course, I took on, I guess I wasn't interested if something wasn't dangerous. That airplane, I felt very confident with it, except I almost made one mistake, and it just takes one, and you leave here. And it don't take very long seconds to get your life.
Yeah.
It's not drug on a lot of cases. But I learned a lot in that war. But I've learned more in history about the war than I ever knew there by writing this book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've learned, I would have never dreamed that things like this was happening and what was happening. It's just like Jay didn't know about a rubber tank. We had rubber tanks.
You also had no engine.
Of course, I seen the rubber tanks.
You also had a plane with no engine that you.
Yeah.
did.
So Veronika, what do you guys learn over in Slovakia about the war?
Well,
what is
there is pretty much really strong influence from, because we are liberated by the Soviets and not by the US or British army, and so there's kind of pretty strong influence from this Russian Soviet side of the Allies. But we learn also about what you did in Normandy, but mainly about the Soviet liberation.
Is that still being taught today in schools? Is it history? Because I know here in America, schools have pushed away from that type of military history.
Yeah, it's still it still is here. Yeah, but we also learn about all kind of what people even in resistance did and so on. So yeah.
Did you have any family members that served?
Yes, in Slovakia, we actually were in 1939. We were established as a Slovak fascistic state, so we were Nazi state. And in 1944, we had Slovak national uprising, and both of my great grandfathers fought in that uprising, and they actually both ended up in concentration camps, but they both survived. But yeah, so these two members fought in World War II.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, Veronika, thank you so much for coming on, and it's so cool seeing, especially like a young lady who's interested in this and carrying on the history. So thank you so much. That's very encouraging. I love it. It's very cool to see you.
Thank you.
Slovakia. I mean, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
I
send it to DM. We'll send you out a shirt, and hopefully you can join us on our virtual walk on June 6th to remember.
Of course, definitely.
Absolutely. Now, George, what were you going to say?
I was going to tell I have a pen pal in Estonia.
Oh, pen pal in Estonia. You got pen pals all over the place, George.
He's a popular
Yeah,
for sure.
you did.
That was a part of Russia at one time.
Yeah.
Well, now you have
So a little country.
Well, now you have another pen pal right here. So send George a
Guys
letter
become pen
to
pals.
the foundation, and we'll make sure that he gets it. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
for joining us today.
Thank you.
I thank
My
you.
pleasure.
My pleasure.
You're another beautiful lady.
Oh,
And this time you got that right. All right, bye, Veronika.
That brought a smile.
There you go.
Oh, man, I love you, George. All right, we still got a lot of people waiting. Let's see.
No. Yes.
Are you doing all right, George? You want to keep going?
See, yeah.
I had a feeling you'd be fine.
You're always about having a good time, buddy. I love it.
Oh, man.
That's quite a hookup for all over the world.
What do we got here?
All over the world.
Goodness sake, couldn't believe it.
There's more.
It's amazing technology, George. Only if you guys had this during the war.
I know.
Waiting to talk to you, George.
Who's this?
We have Sheila.
Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
Sheila.
Hi, Sheila. You're here with George Mullins and the Best Defense Foundation. How you doing today?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
No, I
Where
know
is
you
she?
can.
I think I know that lady.
Oh, do you?
Might be his daughter.
Oh,
Is that your daughter?
Oh, you certainly know.
Hi, Sheila.
Well, I don't think she can hear us.
Oh, I see. That's Sheila.
That's his daughter.
We can't hear them.
Yeah, you got to turn on the audio. So go down.
She lives at McVenville, Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she has to turn her audio on.
Well, while
Come again?
they try and get that figured out, we'll come back.
There she is.
We'll come back because we can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right,
she
we'll
can
come back.
hear me, but she can't. I can't hear her.
All right, let's see who we got. Let's bring in Daniel here. I think this is Daniel from the Canary Islands in Spain. I think
Canary Island.
if it's who I think it is.
Canary Islands. Oh, I knew someone.
There he
in
is.
Canary Islands.
Our guy. Hey, Daniel.
This is Daniel from the Canary Islands. George.
Hi.
Glad to meet you.
Daniel, you're on with George Mullins, 101st
Hi,
Airborne
sir.
Infantry.
So my question is,
Was glider infantry underestimated, like compared to paratroopers?
Would you say underestimated?
Yeah.
So explain what you mean by that. Were they like, did they not think that? Sorry, go ahead, explain.
Like if they're, because I've read that glider infantry were the, I don't know if it's true, but I read that glider infantry were the army uniform and not the paratrooper.
Wore a different uniform?
Yeah.
Did you wear a different uniform than the paratroopers, George?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What was different about your uniform?
In the boots, I had the 2-strap boots, and I wouldn't trade them the 2 straps anytime for them boots. I wear them jump boots. I wore both boots. I wore also the jump boot also, but the jump boot it's too heavy. Takes too long to tie it up, and a lot of things against it. Especially too heavy. The strap boot, you can run in them. It's hard to run these dang heavy paratrooper boots. Yeah, but the reason for this is you don't want those buckles and this and that. They needed a boot that wouldn't get hung up in their strings, you know.
Yeah.
Especially there, and I noticed a lot of them put tape around their boots in order to keep getting hung up in them.
Oh, okay.
So George, talk about, I mean, because people talk about how dangerous, obviously, like both jobs were dangerous. All jobs in war are dangerous. But some people say the paratroopers, they jumped out of a plane with a parachute, and you guys landed in a plane with no engine. And I think asking, like, it's, they're both really dangerous. You guys didn't
both
have
dangerous.
You said the pilot didn't run a parachute, right?
There was a lot of as you know, there's a lot of those gliders got through. They were 2,000. Okay, how many thousand? 6,000 of pilots, wasn't it? 6,000 pilots.
At the end, there was 100 gliders more than pilots in your last.
Oh, at the last of the war, they had 100 more gliders than they had pilots.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's.
They had, I believe, 1,000 so many gliders went into Holland. I think I believe I've read that up in Bastogne that they lost more gliders there than they did anywhere. I didn't know that either till I this research.
Yeah, George, would you call, what was the nickname for the glider?
What was the nickname of your glider? Flying Coffins?
Oh, they called them flying coffins.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
Daniel, have you ever seen a glider, like what they're made of, what they look like in real life?
What do you say?
No.
Yes. If
So they're towed up. Yeah, they're towed up by C-47, and there's a long, cable that's holding them together, and they're just flying. And once they get up, they drop the cable, and they're just gliding down with no engine and just just the wind that's controlling them. And
basically,
I can't imagine.
Plywood wrapped in cloth, right? Or in like a vinyl fabric. What was it wrapped in?
The skin of the aircraft, George, your glider. Tell them about the build of the glider.
Oh, the glider, it's much larger than people's got it in their mind. If you just say it is a glider, the glider it weighed 5,000 so many pounds, and it could carry twice that weight. No, it could carry it. Yeah, it would carry, it could carry how many pounds?
Carry, fully loaded, they could launch at 7,500 pounds.
Yeah, they could take off at 7,500 pounds.
Wow.
And they stood at 12 foot and 6 inches in front and from the bottom, from the ground up. And it was 40 something.
84-foot wingspan.
It was 83 point something wingspan.
Wow.
Yeah. No, Daniel.
It's quite a contraption.
Yeah.
Now we're speaking of the CG4A. The English, it was a glider built with plywood, rolled plywood, and that thing, it carried a little small tank. It carried 32 men, and we carried 15 equipped soldiers. The Germans had one would carry 100 and so many soldiers.
Big one.
They built a big one that they use in the Eastern Front.
Yeah, you had the Horsa glider and the Waco glider. And matter of fact, Daniel, in Normandy at the Airborne Museum in St. Mary-Église, it's a beautiful museum. They have, I believe, a Waco glider in there, fully built still, so you can see it and what it looks like. I mean, it's literally just, plywood and canvas.
That's St. Mary-Église.
Yeah, St. Mary-Église. Yeah. So it's
yeah, I've seen a video of the museum and the glider too.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah,
that's something
one
I
of the
didn't
most
learn about
interesting
later in life.
Yeah, no, I don't know how you guys did it, man. I mean, jump behind enemy lines and landing behind enemy lines, and I mean, our hats are off, off to you, and we will never forget, So.
Yeah, for sure. Daniel, you got another question?
I got a question for Donnie. And do you speak Spanish, Donnie?
Un poquito.
Okay.
A little bit.
Just enough to embarrass yourself.
Because what happens if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting too because we live very close to Mexico, and it's a good way to practice Spanish. And once I'm around it and I hear it, all of a sudden it's funny because my wife laughs like, you speak Spanish? I'm like, yeah, you got to hear it, you got to use it.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. But my family is actually from Spain, from Madrid. Yeah, so I'm Spanish. I did my my 23andMe, and I thought the whole time I was Mexican, but our family actually comes from Spain, which is pretty unique, pretty special.
Yeah.
So we're related.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Daniel. Like always, man, I really appreciate your interest in history and, pushing it forward for the next generation, all the way from the Canary Islands.
Okay. Thank you.
Very cool.
You got anything to say to George before you go?
Vaya con Dios.
Vaya con Dios, he says, George.
That's what Scooter was saying.
It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Okay, well, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye now. Adios.
Yeah, that's what Scooter was saying, right? That's what Scooter was telling everybody once we left.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do one more. You're good for one more? One more question, George?
Yeah, 15 people waiting. We got to pick one?
15.
All right, let's see here.
Question. No, I don't think so. Is he still there? Is he still with you?
There's more people.
We're talking about bringing some other people.
Yes.
Bring him on. He's just getting started.
Yeah, I'll get wound up and think what I'm doing here.
George is doing fine. He's loving this.
Wonderful. I'm gonna grab another coffee.
All right, go grab a cup of coffee real quick.
Lovey!
I'm gonna drink my juice.
All right, look at that.
All right, we got Matthew.
Hang on.
Oh yeah, mute your audio there.
Got it. Okay, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello.
All right, Matthew, you're on with George Mullins.
All right, fine. All right, fine. I've been waiting this whole time.
Oh yeah.
Great. Hey, before you start there, Matthew, what's up with that Chicago Bears? Is that like just a
Yeah, if you remember correctly, we met a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he came on repping the Bears a couple weeks ago.
And then I re-listened to the audio and I found out what you actually said. And hey, to be fair, we did get to the Super Bowl like in 2008, though I was conflicted because I also liked Peyton Manning at the time. So yeah, that happened.
I understand. So you get on again with George Mullins and you have to rock the Bears. It's okay. I understand. No, it's all good.
Hey, come on, you guys just won the Super Bowl. Give
That is true. That is true.
Also, I thought George might like this. And for everyone watching live chat, this was the symbol of the glider infantry for the
327.
101st Airborne.
Yep, 320.
Oh, you recognize that, George?
Come again?
That, George? Can you see that?
Hello there. Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you too, George.
Can you see what he's got on screen there?
You recognize that?
Hold on just a minute. Hold on.
His eyesight's not
Hey,
the best.
hey,
He's
Jay.
girl.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Oh, there you are. Yeah. Come again. I got Jay back here.
He was showing you a drawing of the 327th Glider Infantry Regiment symbol.
Yeah, do you remember that?
I see that. That's a club.
Yep.
I actually
Wow.
modified this helmet a long time ago for that spade, but kind of did a crap paint job. But no, I have kind of a couple questions if I could just get
Go ahead.
to. Well, I had a question on weapons, but people kept asking that. But I got a question. What was the training like for glider infantry compared to the rest of the paratroopers?
Interesting question.
And then my next question is to do with Bastogne. But.
Yes. Well, we didn't have to jump off of that scaffold that they jumped off of. And there's some training that they got that we didn't get, because all we did was the infantry training and then climbing that glider. Of course, at the last, we had to learn how to secure the load, because they had some load shifts that caused some bad accidents there and when they first started this glider warfare. And they learned a lot about a glider. And I only made the one combat out of the road different times in gliders, but the one combat, the one in Holland, but the one I didn't make the one in Normandy because they didn't have enough. I suppose they didn't have enough C-47s to pull the gliders. There's a different reason. They took about one half of the regiment, and they took the heavy equipment, the artillery piece, and the tank guns, and all the jeeps. The paratroopers, they're not sitting too good when they go in until the gliders get there, because they don't have any jeeps, they don't have any tank guns, they don't have a lot of things till that glider gets there. So that's a lifesaver for them.
Actually, in a documentary recently, I actually learned that they had footage of guys from the glider infantry. I could tell because they had the clubs in their helmets going in on landing craft, and they have some like colored footage of the landing on Utah Beach made by you guys, which I thought was pretty cool.
Wow.
My helper, he's not here.
No,
He
it's okay.
disappeared for a minute. And
Yeah.
it's hard for me to hear. I hear you pretty good, but not. There he is.
All right. Well, I got like this one last question. What was your reaction when General McAuliffe responded to the German surrender at Bastogne with just the word nuts?
Well, I figured he knew what he's talking about. So that was quite a, I don't think, when he did that, I doubt if he's thinking. He just decided he just tell him nuts. But in his mind, he wasn't going to have let anybody to surrender, you know. So I think I met him on the front line in Holland. I think it was McCullough. I stepped back out of right at when we landed, and just before the tank attack there in Holland, I ran back across the road there for some reason on the other side of the dike, and he said, "It's a pretty hot place up here, isn't it, soldier?" And that's all we said. I took off back the other way, back to my gun.
Right, he was your regimental commander, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, George, did it when General McAuliffe responded back to the Germans by saying nuts? Did that empower you guys to say hell yeah?
What did he say?
When McAuliffe said nuts, did that like motivate the troops to go, oh yeah, let's get into this?
Well, I really don't know. I don't think the boys on the front line knew about it.
Oh,
Not most of maybe the ones that was with him there.
Yeah,
But the things kind of like that goes kind of pretty. They go slow, you know. Probably didn't hear about that until it's over with.
Yeah.
You imagine nowadays.
I would think so.
He tweeted nuts. The whole world saw it.
That last time last time was over. I think it was that last time. I was up on the balcony throwing nuts to the people.
Yeah, we were there in that.
It cost somebody a lot of money. I threw a lot of nuts.
And it was cold too, huh?
It's good nuts.
Yeah.
I heard they actually handed out some sheets of paper to some of the guys. I know some of them found out about it.
Yeah.
Also, to end this up, I thought people would like to see this. So this is like a World War II weaponry book for the Allies, and I figured people would want to see the machine gun he used.
Oh, right on.
There's your machine gun.
There's your 30 cal.
There it is.
Yeah, that thing's a beast.
Did you have the water cooled?
He had the air cooled.
You talking about the machine gun?
Yeah.
Oh, it's air cooled.
Oh, air cooled.
I didn't see very much of the water cool because that is a defensive weapon. Really, it's too big to carry in an attack.
That's the water cooled.
There it is. There it is.
I just had the air cooled.
Nice.
I'm guessing
Cool.
your secondary would have been this.
Carbine. M1 carbine.
Yeah, the carbine.
Yeah. What your secondary weapon was, George?
Well, I carried that little 30 caliber carbine a lot.
Yep.
It had a folding stock. It had a folding stock, the one I carried.
Oh yeah, the foldable stock. There it is.
Tell them you carried a 48, 38, and a 45 too.
Oh, I carried a P-38 German pistol more than I did anything. I always had one under my belt.
Wow.
I was issued a 45 right at the last of the war. But I preferred that P-38 because that 45, you got to have pretty good hands to handle that thing. It's a lot of blast to that.
Yeah.
It's it is a good weapon because it's much more powerful than a P-38.
Yeah.
You know, but I had that. I didn't even carry a holster. I had it stuck in the back of my belt. And I carried it in under my belt on my back.
Do you still have it to this day?
Do you still have the 38?
No, I'll tell you, I got so hard up after I came back from the war that I sold it for $65. Really regretted that one, but I had to feed the family.
Yeah. You know how much that pistol is worth today?
Oh, it's 6,000 anyway.
Oh,
Yeah, I've always been. That's the only souvenir that I lost some souvenirs, but I didn't. That one got to me. And some of my souvenirs is down at Fort Campbell.
Oh, wonderful.
I may get them back one of these because they're not. I wasn't satisfied the way we agreed for them to display them, and I may get them back, which they can if I want it. I think.
Cool.
Yeah, well, I got my shoulder patch. I mean my flag that I wore all the way, all through combat in the market garden. And it's worn pretty thin.
Yeah.
And I have a swastika. It's really good. It's one that the Hitler wore.
Oh, wow.
And a few things. But I sent my part of the guns home. I still have that same with a gun that Germany built. They, I guess, were trying to copy the M1. I have that gun.
The
And,
G43?
but, what do you say?
G43.
43.
G43, Gewehr 43.
They call it the
Year.
I'd have to look at it. What we did, I gave my guns to my brothers, and we use them as big game guns, and we cut them down and took the weight off of them. And this one here, I want to get rebuilt. It'd be worth a lot of money too. Yeah. But while Donnie and I were in Birch's Garden, we learned that one of those swastikas, but Iron Cross, that thing's worth thousands of dollars. I should have took von Ribbentrop's off him. I could have been rich now.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Matthew, thanks for coming by again.
Thanks, Matthew.
Try and get a couple more people in here.
All right, next time you're gonna wear Chiefs or Chargers, huh? Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks for the shirt. Oh yeah, thanks for the shirt, by the way. I got the shirt the other day. Also got a sticker.
Oh,
you didn't wear
that. They're shooting a bull.
You should be wearing the shirt.
Wearing
the shirt.
Or yesterday.
It's nice.
Right.
Nice and comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's good. Yeah. Well, thank you, buddy.
Right on. Well,
thanks for joining us, and thanks for everything.
Hey, God bless you guys. See you.
All right. Bye.
My pleasure.
Austin, I think he does that. I think he does
Bye
that.
now.
What?
No, I just said, like, because last time we talked about the Bears, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna wear that Bears shirt again just for Don.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah.
George, you doing all right, buddy?
You still doing good, George?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
You got
All
time for
right.
one more?
Let's get a couple more people in if we can.
Okay.
Let's see.
What are you drinking?
Oh, we got someone repping the hat there.
We got coffee.
We can't hear you, Mary Beth.
Oh, it says connecting to audio. Hold on.
Connecting to audio. Hold on.
And George, the young
You hear
woman-
me now? Hear me now?
We can hear you. We just can't hear her.
George, this is
Connecting.
a young woman named
Oh,
Mary
I
Beth.
I see.
Yeah, we can't hear her yet. It says connecting
It's
to
still
audio.
connecting.
Audio. Connecting to audio.
Connecting to audio.
Uh-oh.
She did not connect to audio. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
We didn't connect. Oh, now it says connecting. There we go.
Connected. All right.
Yeah,
We
I
can
tried
hear
to
you
use my
now.
phone, but it put me on hold in the waiting room.
Oh, okay.
I'll make
How you doing, Mary Beth?
I'm so good. Got my hat, gentlemen.
You got the
and
hat
Good.
representing?
Looking good.
I get to spend
Welcome to the
my
family.
Saturday. I get to spend my Saturday in the company of all
Mary
the
Beth?
men.
Mary Beth.
Yeah.
Where's she from?
You are live with, why don't you ask her, George?
George, ask her.
Mary Beth, where are you from?
Well, George, I'm from North Carolina and I'm 43, so I've got some years on the other callers.
North Carolina, and she's 43.
Oh,
So
I'm glad to meet you.
It's my pleasure, George. So my father was actually a first
There
son
she
of
is.
infantry. There I am. Hi, George.
23. I was never that young.
Oh, 43. I was
43.
never that young either. I did want to mention one thing to you and Jay. If you're interested in help with proofreading or copy editing your book, I'm available to volunteer for that. I do that for a living, essentially.
Oh, really?
She's
Cool.
editor. If we want her to look at your book to edit it, she'll look at it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
We're trying to get it published right now, and what is that?
But just let her know we just can't finish writing it. You keep remembering stuff.
Oh, he accuses me of coming up with some more stuff, and it's a holdup because he's going to go through a whole lot of stuff to get the little bit of stuff in it. He wakes me up and makes me remember stuff. So the book goes on and on. I don't think we'd ever get it finished.
You know,
Keeps growing and growing.
it's the story of your life, George. You just keep going on and on, don't you? Just
Yes,
your whole
he
life.
does.
Keep going.
Mary Beth, it's amazing too because we're on program. He's in the back of the bus on his computer writing his book.
Yep. Like literally, like the
He's
second
like,
we get in the bus, he whips out his computer and he just
And
starts
he's like,
writing
oh, I
stuff.
remember this, and he just starts typing away.
Wow.
Oh, it's
Sounds like you
amazing.
should publish a few volumes. Get
I'm
that up.
telling
Get the
you.
first
Yeah.
one out to it.
I tell him the same thing, Mary Beth, that the book's not done till he tells me it's done. So
You should have told me that you was an editor. I'd have had you a long time ago.
Well, you know, Austin and Donnie have my Facebook information. If you
Yeah,
ever
we can
need
link you
someone to
guys up.
proofread it, you're welcome to. But let's get to the question. I know there's so many people in line right now. Were you part of the concentration camp liberation?
Good question.
did you help liberate any of the concentration?
No, I was right close to Duck Hall, but I didn't want to go see what the boys told me they seen. Because I figured out that it'd keep me awake more than what I already had in my head. But I wished I had.
Really?
You know, it's the backside, you know. But I know enough to tell that is a terrible thing. I've learned a lot in writing this story. I learned the first people they put in there, and you know, they were put to death or worked to death. Can you guess who they were? Not the Jews.
I don't know who.
Tell them.
They were the Democrats.
German Democrats.
Really?
That's what I am. They used me for kindling wood.
Interesting.
That was smart of you, I guess, to not walk through it if you knew what it would be like. Okay. Then what is the best advice you got that got you through the war?
What's the best advice anybody gave you that got you through the war?
Oh my goodness.
What did Joe Henn say?
Oh. Well, we have a close friend of mine is my squad, and he told me one day, he says, and I guess he's mentioned a medal or something like that, and he said, George, we're just here to do what we can do with what we got to do with. And we didn't have, we had enough to do with then because we won that battle. I write about one battle we won. Of course, we won most all the battles or the war wouldn't have been over.
Yeah.
Very good. So what was that saying, guys? I didn't hear it.
Tell them the same again, George.
Now, I have a friend that told me he was just in the next foxhole. He said, George, we're here to do what we can do with what we have to do with.
Very good.
And I have one comment to say. If I've did a lots of thinking all these years, if Overlord had failed, where would we been today?
Exactly.
It's written in the stars, George.
Different world.
Yeah.
It's
Whole
written
different
in the
world.
stars. That's
Whole
what
different
you
world.
say, George.
It's written in the stars.
That's what
How come you don't know that? That's what I got in. That's what I got me through the war. It's all written in the stars.
She's been watching from the beginning, so she heard you say that earlier.
I'm gonna
How
say
did
it
you
all
know
the
I
time.
said that?
I'm gonna say it all the time now. And the combat ghost, that is just haunting. So that is something that will stick.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very cool.
All right, guys.
Mary Beth, thanks
I'll
for
let the next
joining us
person-
again.
Mary Beth.
Yeah, George is way too handsome for me to stay on this call with him.
Oh, did you hear that, George?
Did you hear that?
Well, thank you. You're a beautiful lady yourself.
I am a lady. Thank you.
You got it right this time.
You got it right.
The only thing, I don't think I was ever that young.
That's okay. I'll catch up to you. All right, bye, guys.
All right. Thanks, Mary Beth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Alrighty then.
What a ride this has been. This has been awesome. This has been
North Carolina.
The hoot.
I knew George was gonna be a show, that's for sure.
You're a hoot.
Oh yeah.
Talk about loving life and living life, George. You exemplify that. You know, I mean, it's
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah.
to be around and great advocate for your generation to tell the stories and everything.
No use crying about it.
Hey, George, give us the patent face.
Come again, Don.
Give us the patent face, George.
George, give us the
Patent.
Give him your patent face, George.
Oh no, you don't get me to do that. I'd go out all over the world.
Come on.
Now, I got a lot of respect for Patton, but the guy that I really is my what you call it is General Taylor. He jumped. He was right with the boys. Of course, Patton was. He didn't, except Pat didn't jump out of a plane, I don't think. But this Taylor, he was something else. And a lot of those other guys, the generals that we had there, they were great officers. Believe me, I think they're the one that had the brains to run that thing. Yeah. We're talking about the battlefield tactics. They did great, I think. Very much, very good.
Yeah.
And another thing, they were with us. Just like I said.
Yeah.
I just went there and run across the road there and met McAuliffe right there.
Yeah.
And it was the hot, like he said, it was a hot place up there.
Yeah, you got to respect
But
that.
they still, they were with it, and some of them got killed, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the one who went to glider was Pratt, and he got killed in his glider. He's supposed to have the best pilot in the world that was piloting that glider. But I don't think, I didn't know that hedgerow was a solid dirt, 6 foot through and 10 foot high with a hedge on top of it. That's what them gliders hit. If it was just a hedge, they had a chance, but it was just not a hedge, it's a mound of dirt.
Yeah.
Lots of that in Normandy.
Yeah.
Hedgerows.
Here's a fun little clip. This is George in front of a picture of Patton.
Do it.
Doing the Patton face.
Oh. He does rip, except he don't have a mustache, does he? No.
There it is. There it is right there. There it is.
There's the
He
Patton.
wasn't old enough to get a mustache there, I don't think. Well, he was a great guy. I understand that he was the first man that crossed the Rhine. He went with a patrol and swum that river. This is what was told to me when I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a gutty guy, but he made a couple mistakes like I do.
What do you say? Should we bring one more person in and close this out?
Say yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Let's see. I know this guy's been waiting a long time to get in here, so let's see if he's still there. Our buddy from England.
Right.
Had that
Right.
picture of me.
Charlie.
That's the one they took of me up there.
Charlie
Their
from
best
England.
song.
Charlie, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good. How about you?
Doing good.
Yeah,
You got
I'm
Mr.
part of the
George
Midlands.
Mullins here.
Yeah. So before I start, I just want to thank you, Mr. Mullins, so much for your service. I don't know what I would do without you and your comrades. Thank you so much.
Where are you from?
I'm from Minnesota, but I live in England now.
He's from Minnesota and he lives in England.
Oh,
Yeah.
And tell him how old you are.
you're going to be an Englishman, huh?
Shitty. Yeah.
Tell him how old you
What
are.
part of England do you live in?
Oh, I live in Surrey. It's about an hour out of London.
He's an hour out of London.
Oh,
He's near London.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's where your girlfriend was.
What, oh, I'll ask you what town, huh?
Ask him.
What town do you live in?
I live in Cobham. It's a small little town in Surrey, which is just outside London.
In
It's a
Surrey.
small little-
Yeah.
Near Surrey. Yeah.
What is the town she lived in?
She lived in Ilford.
Do you know where Ilford is?
Oh yeah, I know where Guildford is. It's about like 10-20 minutes away. It's really close.
I'm looking for my old girlfriend, and that's where she was.
Maybe I know her.
I'm looking for a picture or something about her, and we did a lot of research. Haven't found her. My daughter is on her trail now to see if she can find her through the newspapers and this and that.
Trying to find an old girl.
I'm looking for people by the name of Martin.
Martin. Well, if you ever find her, I'll be happy to take you to her.
Haven't found her. Or is he?
Well, you got
there
Charlie
now?
on the hunt now. Charlie will find her.
Charlie looking for
I'm on the
KP.
job.
I like
Charlie's
Charlie.
gonna look for K as well now.
You got a question for George?
Charlie?
That's his name.
Oh yeah. I
Oh,
do.
Charlie. Oh, I'll put you on the trail. I can give you over my email. I can write you everything that I know about her and who she married, when she married, and this and that and the other. But I'd like to find her. Of course, it's been 76 years, so time might have run out, but I'd like to know about her. But most of all, we're looking for a photo of her.
I will do my best.
Charlie,
I'd be happy to help.
Detective duty.
Okay, you contact me and I'll give you that. And I'd be really appreciative for you to do that. You'll do that you're part of World War II if you find her.
So Charlie has
I
a
would be
question
happy
for
to.
you.
I would be
Okay.
happy to.
Oh,
Ask him what his
great.
question.
Okay,
What's your
George.
question, Charlie?
Charlie's gonna ask a question now.
So I got a couple. So my first one is so could you tell me a bit about how you felt when you reached the Eagle's Nest in Berchtesgaden?
How did you feel when you reached the Eagle's Nest, George?
Well, I didn't see any eagles, but I wish they had a pair up there to put in a nest. No, during that time, it's just another day for me. I was running all over those mountains and gathering up a few of those Nazis. And the war at the end was a pleasure to me because I could roam all over those mountains. It's a beautiful place, very beautiful place.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, why? I see why the Dufour, he picked that place for his home. And boy, he had a lot of hideout, but he didn't hide out in it. Donnie went into the case, what they had, the work had been did there, man. There's incredible, took a lot of labor to do that work. Yeah, it's something that everybody should go see is the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
really
ever
want
get,
to.
go
What'd you
ahead.
ask, George?
I suggested if he could ever get a chance, make time through his life, try to visit the Eagle's Nest.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
And
What else
so,
you got, Charlie?
so my second question is, so what was it like, in Bastogne? So, like, yeah, so what was the fighting like in Bastogne?
Well, for me, I was at the aid station. The few days I was there, I wasn't in the field very long at all. At the last, I did, but I was at the in the bombing when they bombed Bastogne. I know what I went through the experience of a bomber dropping 5,000 pound bombs, or ever what they were. And very few soldiers experienced that. Very few ever had a bomb dropped on them. And I was one of the few that experienced the bombing in. I know what it is like for the airplanes to bombing you. I was in the building, they got hit.
Oh, wow. And so, before I go, I just wanted to show you a couple things that I have. So, right here, this is this is not a parachute. This is a seatbelt buckle that was in the gliders, the Waco gliders.
Wow.
And this one was recovered in St. Mary-Glise in the fields where they would have landed on D-Day.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
souvenir,
then
huh?
It's a seatbelt.
Yeah, seatbelt.
It's a seatbelt buckle from a glider. That's pretty
And
cool.
so,
How'd you get that?
That's really cool. Where'd you get that?
I got it from the Gettysburg Museum of History. They sell a lot of cool D-Day relics.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
My buddy Eric Dorr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second thing I wanted to show him was I showed this to Mr. Whitten. This is an M1 helmet that belonged to a 101st Airborne soldier. He his name was George R. Jones, and he jumped into Normandy on D-Day, but he was killed on the 22nd of June, 1944, in Normandy. And yeah, this is M1 helmet.
Is that his?
So intact for the most part. Got the liner. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow. That's really, really. That's
yeah,
really
and,
cool. Yeah.
It's people like George R. Jones who paid the ultimate sacrifice, and I can't thank them, and I can't thank the veterans enough for what they've done for us. That my great uncle here, he died in Italy for fighting for the British in 1944.
Wow.
He died on the front lines. So yeah.
The camera.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hold that up closer a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see him.
Wow.
What's his name?
His name was Vincent.
Vincent.
Yeah, he didn't die from the Germans. He actually died of cholera.
Cholera.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, on the 9th of September 1944, and he's buried in a Arezzo. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not good in Italian pronunciation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
So
we got Memorial Day coming up in like 9 days. And, a lot of people, Memorial Day is to remember those who died like in action, like died in service of the country. And, that's an amazing thing for you to have, like that helmet is something cool. Like, you have this person's helmet who died for our freedom.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing to have to remember them by.
Yeah. And yeah. So once again, thank you so much, Mr. Mullins, for what you've done for the country, for the world, and for our freedom. Yeah. Thank you so much, and stay safe.
Yeah, Charlie. Hope you,
Absolutely. Thank you, Charlie. Good to talk with you.
June 6th to remember.
Yeah, we'll do.
On that day for sure. Get your friends, get your family, get them all involved, and wear some patriotic gear, and let's honor our veterans and remember the fallen. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, cool.
Also,
Thanks for coming by, Charlie.
I'm happy to help you find your lost love. I would be happy.
All right.
Message the Best Defense Foundation, try and get your email, and I will help you.
Got it, buddy. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Charlie.
See you
Cool.
guys.
All right. Bye.
He's great.
I know.
I love him. He's great. He's great.
Oh, he's gonna hunt for your lost lady there, buddy.
He's gonna look for you,
I
George.
tell you.
He's
All
gonna,
right.
Threw that in pretty coyly, don't you think, guys? He got somebody on the job.
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh man.
What was this?
I'm teasing.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't believe we've been going for almost 2.5 hours already. This is crazy. We've never gone this long. Woo!
Hey, my cheeks were hurting. I was laughing so hard.
I know. My eyes
Yeah.
were still wet from laughing with George. Just like every time we get together with George, I'm just crying laughing.
We may need to be giving George a bathroom break soon too. So
Well, I think this is a good time to end it.
Yeah, we're gonna end it right
Okay.
now.
Yeah, we usually don't go this long, but I was having too much fun. Lost track of time.
Wow.
hard to stop the fun.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, thank you so much for your help, George. Always a pleasure and an honor. Thank you for joining us and sharing your story with the community, with the people. They want to hear from you, and it's just been wonderful. Great to see you. Through this video conference, but nonetheless, man, we're always thinking about you.
Yeah.
Fellas, thanks for having him. It really means a lot, and he really perks up. He misses seeing you guys and being around you, whether you know that or not.
We miss him
I'm
too.
around him every day, and not a day goes by that one or all of your names are not mentioned to me. So I just want to let you know that. And from my own perspective, I have nothing but props and respect for what you guys have done for George.
It's our honor.
George, I'm very protective, as you probably know, of George. So it's nice to know that there are people out there really looking out for him. It really means a lot to me personally. So thank you.
Yeah, right on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, right now it sucks to end because we have so many people waiting, but just want to say, Matthew, Caleb, Connor, and Guillermo. I don't know if I said that right. There's a lot of people who come on every week and talk to us, and they're all waiting. We'll make sure to get you guys in next time first, so you can ask. But we appreciate you guys coming by every week. But yeah, we've gone a little long this week.
Yeah, a little long.
So we're gonna end it here, but we'll get you all in next week, and hopefully we got a lot of people watching this time. So hopefully more and more people will join in, and we can get people talking. But George, I want to thank you personally so much for just being such a wonderful part of my life, and you will be someone I will remember forever. And we love you so much, and it's just been amazing to get to know you.
Thank you, Donnie. Same to you.
We love you, George. Oh my God, we love you.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah. No, it's a pleasure and an honor. Hey, we'll do it again for sure. We'll do it again, and you guys, let's just keep it going. This has been wonderful, and I'm glad you're doing it, George. And we'll do it again for sure. And as Jay said, man, we're in it for the right reason. With the best offense, we're all volunteers, and honestly, we live by taking care of the ones who took care of us. That's what it's about. So we're taking care of you guys. We're giving this opportunity, this freedom. And, we pay it forward, and we try to include everybody, and we'll just keep doing it. And, hey, we'll see what happens. All right. So thanks for joining us, everyone. And until next time. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you now.
Thank you, George.
Bye.